So we're back after many months of being away. I think I was looking back at our podcasting, and I think our last one was in January, February of this year. So we're back today. Today's a very special podcast to bring us back. It is very special.
Thanks,
our
Dad.
baby boy, Joshua, is 18 today, so he's an adult now. He'll be moving out tomorrow if anybody wants us to. I'm just kidding. He can live in my basement as long as he wants. Or no, he can live in his room as long as he wants.
I'll take the basement if I want to, though.
But anyway, we're here today with Joshua for our reboot, and then we recorded another one that we'll release next Monday as our true reboot for our new setup that we're doing with our podcasting. But today is going to be all about Joshua.
Yeah, they made the podcast episode and then forgot that it was my birthday, so then that's why they're doing it for next week.
We didn't forget. We're just in denial because I don't want you to be 18.
Mom didn't forget. I probably did.
Well, you forget literally everything about me. No, it's so funny because Papaw will just call me like every day on October 4th and wish me happy birthday, and every day I'm like, yeah, I'm just enjoying my last day being 17 before, and he's like, you turn 18 tomorrow? I was like, yeah. And it's just like every year he forgets that my birthday's on the 5th instead of the 4th.
In his defense, he has a lot of grandchildren to keep up with.
He definitely does.
When they have birthdays.
All right, so before we get into all of our stuff, let's go to the bumper.
Welcome to Loving Our 25 to Life. I'm Heather.
And I'm Bo. Together we've been married over 25 years.
Yeah, baby!
And this is where we talk about life, love, and all the adventures we have had along the way.
Oh, wow. Whether we're sharing stories from our marriage or taking you along one of our trips, we're here to reflect on how we've made it this far and where we are headed next.
So grab a seat, settle in, and let's dive into another episode of Loving Our 25 to Life.
So, for our last two kids, when we did their podcast, we kind of talked about how they came about and how they, got here. So with Joshua, it's a little bit of a different story. If you've listened to Caleb and Bethany's story, they were both kind of not 100% planned. But with Joshua, I just remember I had dropped Caleb off for his first day of kindergarten, and I was a hot mess because I realized that was my baby and I didn't have any more babies. And so Bo and I were in a good place. I had been a nurse for a little while, and he was settled in his field, and we were like, I wanted another baby. And I had told Bo about it when he got home from work that day. And I said, hey, I've been thinking, and I really think I want to have another baby. And he thought I was kidding. So he just kind of was laughing. And I said, no, I'm really serious. And so that was in 2006. And we kind of made a deal that if I wasn't pregnant by February of 2007, we would stop trying, because I was going to be, I think, 30, 31, somewhere in there. And I didn't want to be more than 30 or 31 when I had a baby. So February was our cutoff, or maybe March. But anyway, the month before our cutoff of when we were going to stop trying, I found out I was pregnant. And so.
But that's not the whole story. I blame my great-grandfather for all of this because we had reached the day.
Not blaming anybody. We're not blaming.
I blame him for this.
Oh, stop it.
Well, hold on. I want to say my initial thought when Heather said, let's have another kid, is I said, there's going to come a time where the two older ones are going to be graduated from high school, and if we have one now, he's going to be scraggling up through, and we're going to have a 6th grader or 7th grader, and then we got like 6 more years. That was my initial thought. So then I blamed my great-grandfather because we had said if we're not pregnant by this date, I was going to set up the surgery for myself. And we had reached that point. You weren't pregnant, so I set the appointment up. So the week I was going to have my surgery to take care of any future kids, my great-grandfather died. So
How dare him.
I had to cancel my appointment. We went to his funeral, did all that, and then when we came back, like 2 weeks later is when you found out you were pregnant.
See? It was a God.
It's like birth a friend. I mean, like, mom gives birth to me and I'm 100% your best friend. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if mom didn't birth a friend, you wouldn't even have me anymore.
That's true.
So then we back up to, our older two pretty much, they both kind of flew the nest. Well, we flew the nest and they stayed in Knoxville, but kind of at the same time. So honestly, moving to Kentucky, if I didn't have Joshua, I probably would have been so lonely. So I'm glad we had Joshua when we had him.
Yeah. So that leads us to our first point, which is...
So when Joshua was 12 or 13?
I was 12.
Yeah, when Joshua was 12, Bethany and Caleb had finished high school and they were kind of living on their own. And Bo and I decided to move to Kentucky. And,
which would have been on our own, but
we had this blessing over
this
here.
little bundle of joy.
Aw, thanks guys. You guys are really making me feel welcome.
So that we have to say, the first year or two that Joshua was in Kentucky, he didn't like it. And talk about that a little bit.
I mean, we're kind of out here in the middle of nowhere, and it was kind of during COVID, so I didn't have opportunities to make friends. And then I'd say that's when me and Dad's relationship got good. And then with you too, but you were also working all the time. Dad was just working from home. But, you know, you kind of had like a 2-month period where you'd work like on the nights, and then you'd have like another 2-week period when like you were working only on the weekends. And then you had another 2-week period where you were working from home. And then we had another 2-week period where you were just like, pretty much just changing everything about your schedule. And then homeschool came around and you're like, I'm only going to work weekends so that I can help you during the week.
Do we want to talk about why we decided to homeschool? Or we don't want to tell that story?
Homeschool started.
We don't want to tell that story?
Actually, I changed my job. I'm working weeks now, so you're on your own now. So
I mean, but you were ninth grade.
It turned out really well.
But you were ninth grade and had a very structured homeschool program that you chose not to take advantage of.
Liberty University is pretty much a cult.
No, but you had instructors you could have reached out to that you never did. And yeah, ninth grade homeschooling was a nightmare. But we're not going to tell the story why we decided to do ninth grade homeschooling.
Well, so pretty much what happened was in 8th grade, there was this kid in my class, and I was bending over to pick up a textbook, and he thinks it's funny to whack me with the broomstick. So I took the broomstick from him and whacked him back with it, and then I got in trouble, and then my mom figured out about my horrid grades. So then they were like...
Can I tell this part of the story?
Yeah.
We go up to the school, right? And picture little, how old are you? Probably
little Jay.
14.
I was like 13.
Little 13-year-old chubby Joshua tagging along. So we go into the principal's office, and the principal is like very, she's very apologetic. Just, I'm sorry that we had to do this. You know, it's just a misunderstanding. And basically, I'm not going to tell you the details, but basically the kid that Joshua hit with a stick, their parents were going to press charges on whatever. And so we were like, Joshua, what did you do? And he's like, I really just hit him. Just hit him back like he hit me. And so by the time we got to the principal's office, the principal said, you know, it's not a big deal. We actually found out it wasn't that big of a deal. The parents can't press charges because, you know, whatever. So it ended up being fine. So Joshua, look over, he's just like chest out, like, yeah, I told you guys, you know, so proud of myself. But then the principal goes, she goes, there's one other thing I want to talk to you about. She's like, Joshua is a great kid.
She's never met me before by this point. Like, she doesn't know that. She's just telling you that.
But she goes, Joshua's just a great kid, but he acts up in class. He doesn't do his homework. And so me and Heather were like, what? What do you mean he's not doing his homework? And by this time, little butt squirming in his seat, like, what's going on? And so she goes, let me pull up his grades, and he has like zeros and this, and so she goes, and of course me and Heather are going, Joshua, what's going on? And he's like, because I meant I thought I turned that stuff in. And it was the funniest. Like, now it's funny. The day that it happened, it wasn't funny. So come to find out, Joshua wasn't even turning his homework in. And then so we left, and Joshua was like, I hate that principal. She's such a fat cow or whatever. And it's like, you can't be mad at her because you didn't do your job.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the fat cow part probably didn't happen because me myself was extremely significantly large.
You were just a little chubby kid.
Yeah. that wasn't doing any of my schoolwork. And that really did carry on through most of my high school career. Now, I mean, like if it wasn't for ChatGPT, I'd probably be in the same spot, you know?
Maybe we don't put that in the podcast.
Like ChatGPT is literally my day one, like out there doing everything for me. I really just want to give a shout out. Shout out Mr. Booth, man. His birthday too, you know? He actually teaches us how to do stuff. I can't really use ChatGPT on that.
So let's talk about, so you brought up Mr. Booth, so let's talk a little bit about what you do and kind of what your plans are.
Yeah, what are your plans? When are you moving out?
Like I'll get there eventually.
No rush, seriously.
But yeah, in Mr. Booth's class, we mainly like to hide a speaker in the ceiling and play noises, and he doesn't know what, like, sometimes he doesn't know where it's coming from. Like we'll play like a fire alarm sound.
I think what Dad meant was
like
talk about what
and he'll
Mr.
be like,
Booth.
What's that? And we're like, it's the man in the ceiling, Mr. Booth.
I think we're mainly talking about what he teaches and what your plan as of right now is and what track you're on.
Yeah, he teaches like electrical or something. I think that's about all I got. But yeah, my plan is to like go into trade school after high school and become an electrician. But I feel like my foreman might not be as gullible as Mr. Booth is, so I might have to leave the speaker at home.
I probably would do that. So talk a little bit about, I mean, we did kind of move to Kentucky in the middle of your kind of prime teenage years, but talk about, I know you've told me before you kind of hated it when you moved up here, but I mean, what do you think about it now? And do you miss your friends back in Knoxville, or do you wish we had stayed in Knoxville?
Well, I would say I would miss, like, I obviously miss my friends, but I think I mostly miss like the times we had, because I guarantee you bring me back down there, I haven't seen them all in 5 or 6 years, 6 or 7 years. So it's like I probably wouldn't even know a thing about them now. But like you move me here, I get to meet people like Eli. He's like my best friend ever. I feel like if we didn't move here, I wouldn't get to meet him. All around, I do enjoy Kentucky more than Tennessee because you actually know people instead of just. I will say, though, I miss having a Kroger, like, walking distance from the house.
That's true. I do miss that, too.
But it does make for some good trips.
Yeah.
So talk about in general, like, maybe one or two of your core memories, good or bad.
Okay, so this is an honorable mention. It doesn't really count, but it counts to me. I remember one time, like, the third day we ever moved here, I was looking at the door stopper, and for some reason, I was like, I'm never going to forget this. And every day, or like every week at least, I'm like, remember that one time I looked at that door stopper and I was like, I'm never going to forget that. That's probably a core memory. Another one is Do Decent. Back in the day, me and Old Bo filmed one YouTube video. That was about it. Also,
you talk about me changing jobs. How many adventures were you and Dad going to have? And you got like one episode into it.
We got one episode and he was like, oh, my gout. Oh, I can't. But also... Bare Naked Ladies concert was another good one.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Probably the beach trip whenever I first said I'm not doing any of my 9th grade schoolwork. And then we came home and Dad was like, I'm never taking them on a vacation ever again. Next year we were back out on the shore. What you got, Mom? What are some of your core memories?
I don't know. I mean, I just feel like there were so many times after we moved up here that, like, Bethany and Caleb were back in Tennessee. Dad was busy doing his bourbon stuff. So I just feel like you were just kind of my buddy, and we did a lot of things together. And even when you and I would both go together with Dad on his bourbon trips, you and I ended up doing things kind of off to the side by ourselves while he worked. And I mean, I would have been just super lonely the first few years we were here if it hadn't been for you wanting to hang out with your mom, which a lot of kids your age didn't want to, but you always have, and you've always... And I will say this one thing about Joshua that I think is pretty unique, I feel like, of a kid his age, especially a boy. But no matter what, every time he sees me, like if I'm coming in from work or if I'm home and he's coming in from school or whatever, he'll just stop and give me the biggest hug ever, almost every day that I see him. So those are cool because... I love your siblings. Bethany, she's a girl, so she's supposed to hug her mom, but your brother wasn't much of a hugger. He would give me one every now and then, but I kind of had to pry him out of him. But You've just always been a really affectionate kid toward me, at least. So that's always meant a lot to me.
It must be nice because he gives you hugs. He gives me a one finger salute when he sees me, or he makes fun of me in various ways.
Let's talk about your collage you have.
I was gonna say something. Just shout out Bo for bringing us all up here for a good job opportunity and literally quitting before it even started. Really appreciate that one. Changed the entire course of my life. But I do think what doesn't kill you does make you stronger. Also, Mom, what was the question you were going to talk about?
I don't even remember.
It was something about the collage.
Oh yeah, your collage you have
Your
for
little
Dad.
stupid collage that you have. Which, don't worry, today
We're gonna need it.
I have a collage of my own that I'll post.
When we post this podcast on our Facebook page, we need to put a few of those pictures that Joshua has in his collage of you on there. So the thing Joshua's playing right now, we'll put on the Facebook page. So if you're listening to this, be sure to go to our Loving Our 25 to Life Facebook page to see the collage that he's put together of Bo.
Such a good job.
I do think so too.
I think you have some great video skills.
It really takes a lot to just have a dad that somehow just puts himself in the worst poses of all time.
He's so agile. I don't know what you're talking about.
And being able to take pictures of him. Like when he's changing my oil, he's underneath that car all like this. And I just immediately I hear him grunting and asking for tools. I just pull out my camera and take a picture.
So Joshua, what would you tell your younger self? So I've always said I wish we could live life backwards because there's so many things that I realize now that I would have done differently, especially with your siblings. Because we say this all the time, and you have to admit you have a completely separate, different set of parents than Bethany and Caleb did. Because when Bethany and Caleb were little, your dad and I were so focused on, I don't know, just raising them the way we thought our parents thought they should be raised, and children should be seen and not heard. We were really strict and really hard on them. And as you came along, we realized we could back off a little bit and you're still going to grow up to be a decent human. We didn't have to be so strict or so hard or anything like that. So I feel like you have a different set of parents. But if you could, as an 18-year-old Joshua, go back and tell 10, 11, 12-year-old Joshua something, what is something that you would tell your younger self?
Put the Cheetos down.
Stop.
That's an honorable mention for sure. Maybe
I cannot with you two. Can we just answer the question?
Okay.
This is my whole life. I'm trying to discipline and be serious with my kids,
Maybe
and I've
cut
got
back on the double
fun
stuff.
dad over there.
No, I'd probably go back even further and just tell myself to appreciate Bethany and Caleb. Whenever we lived together, I remember me and Caleb would argue all the time. It was oh my gosh, I can't wait until he moves out or something like that. Or sometimes not as much with Bethany, just because Bethany was always kind of doing her own thing, But I'd say definitely I would go back in time and just tell myself that one day you're gonna wish that your siblings still lived with you. So just kind of appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now they all live in Tennessee, but we moved up here for a great job opportunity. So I'd say it was all around worth it for the family.
And so what is it?
Can I just say this real quick?
Yeah,
and you wonder why I didn't want to have a third kid. Especially this one.
So also, when we moved to Kentucky, Grandma and Papa moved up here with us. What's it been like having almost I don't, a lot of kids are raised by their grandparents, but you've kind of semi been raised by your parents and grandparents to an extent. So what's it been like having that aspect of being in Kentucky and having the grandparents live in the same house?
It's like the redneck version of Full House. No, I thought I actually think about this quite often. It's we got Uncle Jesse and who's the wife again? Who's Uncle Jesse's
Becky.
wife? And we got Becky downstairs, kind of just doing their own thing. And then we got oh crap, the wife's dead in it, isn't she?
Thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, I love the analogy.
You'll be like DJ, and you'll be wait, what's the dad's name? Danny. Yeah, it'll be DJ. I mean, you look about as young as her in the show.
Good save, buddy.
Oh, thanks. I thought so it was too. Got.
So who are you in this? Are you the little girl? Are you?
I'm like Michelle. I'm like Michelle.
Or are you Comet?
No, Comet's like that dog. No, that's Jack.
Did you say that dog?
That dog. Can't pet that dog.
Isn't he a dog?
He's a dog. He's
What
not a
is-
dog.
Where did you learn to talk?
That's my dog.
Speaking of dog, we have to say this right now. So we have a 2-3-year-old bloodhound mix that is usually scared to death of Joshua, but for some reason today on his 18th birthday, she's cuddled up right next to him on the bed. So I guess she's figured now that he's not a kid anymore, they can be friends.
Maybe. So I'll have a question. Mom was talking earlier about how we treated Bethany and Caleb differently than we treat you because by the time you came along and became a teenager, we realized that we parented with Bethany and Caleb the way that we thought, like the way we were parented or the way we thought was the right way, which wasn't really the right way. I mean, it wasn't how we wanted to parent, but by the time you came along, we had more leniency on you, which is probably why you almost failed ninth grade, but that's beside the point.
You failed 7th grade, dude. Don't even talk to me about that. How do you feel?
That was definitely not my fault. That was
whose fault is it?
everybody else.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway.
No, I've been there. Yeah, I've been there.
My question is, do you feel like Bethany and Caleb, the way they word it is, you're the golden child, you get away with everything.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like we parent different with you?
Yeah, I'd say like mom actually parents me, and you're just kind of there.
Thank you.
You know, like every good decision I do,
Right.
is like that's probably what mom would want me to do.
Okay.
But if I'm ever like in the class, you know, just talking about vile stuff, I'm like, yeah, this is something my dad would have done. You know,
Okay.
like any good thing that I like, any work ethic I've ever had probably
Right.
comes from mom. And anytime,
like getting a job at McDonald's and quitting 2 weeks later, and then getting another job at McDonald's and quitting.
I got that from mom because she changes jobs a lot.
Can I just say that every time I've changed jobs, it's been either for a better opportunity or for more money. So y'all
That's
can
true.
suck it.
That is
Second boys. No, I was playing.
Let's just talk about. Never mind. I'm not even going to go there.
No, I was playing
about how
Uno.
I'm making twice as much as your dad, but that's okay.
I was playing some birthday Uno, and I won like 3 rounds out of 5. And every time I lay the cards down, I go, "Suck it, boys." 'Cause that's what dad's go to is.
What's your most embarrassing moment ever?
Oh man, I think about this all the time. It actually haunts me sometimes. One time I was walking. This was in Grandma's old house, and I just been getting these spam calls all day, and like for like weeks I've been getting these spam calls, and finally I get one, and I'm already pissed off. I'm like, I answer it. I'm like, just shut up and leave me alone. And on the other hand, I hear, "Hey Josh, it's Mimi. Just wanting to call you. Wish." I don't know. I forgot what she was calling me for, but I was like, I told her to shut up, but I didn't know it was her. It was just all these spam calls I've been getting, and it was terrible. And I remember my heart dropped, and she probably didn't hear me, and I hope she didn't hear me.
I'm sure she did.
But Mimi, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
as you should be.
Wait, what's your most embarrassing moment?
I don't know. I don't really get embarrassed anymore. I really don't.
I would ask Dad, but he's gonna be like, "Oh, driving you home from the hospital that night."
No, that's not it. It's 18 years after that.
In case y'all can't tell, we didn't have a script for this. We just woke up this morning and thought we'd sit around and talk about Joshua.
We had an idea.
We had ideas, but... All right. What else do you want to talk about?
Man,
Ask.
you're putting me on the spot
What
right
else do you
here.
want to ask or talk about or whatever?
Dad, you probably have a question up your sleeve.
On a real note, let's talk about how, like, kind of getting serious for a minute here, if you guys can handle that.
I can.
When you were like in a dark,
I can.
When you were,
I can more.
No, you can't.
when you were like in a dark time, talk about how God brought Eli into your life, like how that whole thing happened, and because you've told this story before, and I think it's a really cool story.
Yeah, so pretty much, moved up here, started making a lot of money at the distillery. You know, it was like great for the family. I had a mom that would hang out with me on the weekdays and go to work on the weekends for like a week. Everything was great. And then all of a sudden, Dad is just like, guys, I'm just going to work from home now. Sorry, y'all. And then Mom was like, yeah, I'm going to change a job. I don't even know where you were at this point. But she at some job. And I was not at school because of COVID. And I was just alone all the time. And Mom or Dad wouldn't let me have an Xbox or anything that I could like hang out with my friends online. And they gave me a 2-hour time limit on my phone. Because their whole thing was like, this is a new opportunity. We live out in the country. We get to like go out and do stuff. And me and Dad made one YouTube video, and then he sat inside the rest of his life.
Okay, back to how God brought Eli into your life.
Oh, right. Yeah. So pretty much I finally go back to school, and at this point it's like month 3 or 4 of living here, right? And I've made no friends. And then Eli was like the first person that talked to me. So I was talking to him, and then I remember we went to the gym. We were playing pickleball, and he was like, watch this epic behind the back 360 under the legs pickleball serve. And he just completely missed the ball like every time. And I remember at the time, I'm like, this is so annoying. But then I thought about it, and I was like, at least a kid's actually trying to hang out with me. So then I invited him over, or we met at a skate park so he could like do his like 2 tricks he knew how to do, and I would record it for him. And then, yeah, that was and I honestly don't even remember what happened after that. We've just been best friends ever since.
Yeah, it's just really neat because like this community we're in is a small community, and usually nobody moves into the community. So Joshua was having a hard time. You know, the kids all had grown up. I was also really
fat, so like nobody wants to hang out with the fat kid.
That's not true. All the kids are from here, like, you know, somebody different comes in, they don't know what's up. But Eli had just moved here not too long before we did, from Minnesota. He's been all over the place. Yeah. He was born in Minnesota. Right, but it was just like a year before we moved here that it was like 3 or 4. Was it that long? Yeah, he moved here 4th grade.
But I remember he said one time when I said, why in the world did you pick Joshua to be friends with? And he said that when he moved here, not many people wanted to be his friend. So when you moved here, he didn't want you to feel that way, so he became your friend.
Yeah, it was just a charity act, really. Yeah.
He's a good kid. I'm glad you're friends with Eli. He's brought a lot of light into our life as well. You know, like the time he tried to burn my house down. The time he was playing VR and threw his right hand up there and smacked the entire ceiling fan down. That was a good one. The time he sat on the styrofoam ice chest thinking it would hold him up. He did the same thing, but instead of hitting the ceiling fan, knocked the garage door opener chain down. That was a great one.
The time we were in Florida and he looked out and saw all the white sand everywhere, and he goes, guys, it's snowing out there. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. So we have some birthday events about to happen, so we're going to go get ready for that. We're going to take Joshua and his girlfriend to the Dave & Buster's to hang out, play games, watch football, and then I got to work tonight. All right, I love you.
I love you too.
I'm glad you were born.
Dad.
I mean, I love you too. I'm glad you're born.
Wait, you're glad I'm born?
I was glad you're born.
That's a first.
I'm glad we found you when we did. Under a rock.
Oh, you guys are making me tear up. Like, you guys wanted me that bad that you guys took me from sickness under a rock?
You were on death's door.
Oh.
We brought you
somehow
home.
This somehow seems worse.
We brought
Having you as a dad is like actually worse than if I would have just died under the rock.
Okay, stop. Cut it off. We're done.
We're done.
Mom, you're great. I mean, I truly, you're extraordinary.
Turn off the mic.
All right. Love y'all.
Love you.
That's it for today's episode of Loving Our 25 to Life. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found something to take with you on your own journey.
Remember, love is an adventure. Sometimes it's wild, sometimes it's calm, but it's always worth it. Yes! If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who might need a little inspiration.
And don't forget to follow along for more episodes and vlogs documenting our travels, life lessons, and hopefully plenty of laughs.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep loving life because it is the greatest adventure of all. Bye for now.